Meet the Accsoon SeeMo. It may seem like a phone holder of sorts, but this is a HDMI to USB monitoring adapter. It essentially gives your iPhone or iPad a HDMI port, allowing you to turn it into a full-fledged monitoring device with all the bells and whistles of a dedicated monitor that includes recording, streaming, and even sharing your images and videos on the fly. But some might say, why do you need a monitor if your camera already has an inbuilt display? Well, if you ever had a rig that was built in a way where the screen is blocked, or if you have a camera without a full articulating screen, or perhaps you need more screen real estate to capture finer details such as pulling focus, chances are you might be considering getting a field monitor. Though some might say it's such a hassle to carry additional gear, and not to mention the added cost to your presumably expensive setup. So why not take the advantage of your already existing gadgets and gizmos? Priced at $179 US, it is one of the most affordable monitors out there money can buy. Well, all except for the separate purchase of an iPhone, of course. So if you're in a pinch and you have a spare iPhone on hand, this too are a great addition to your camera rig. And I'm very surprised to find that there are no similar devices out there in the market for iOS devices. So without further ado, let's hop in, but before that, let's take a quick minute to talk about today's sponsor, ASUS.
This video is brought to you by ASUS. Check out the ASUS ZenBook 14X OLED Space Edition, commemorating the 25th anniversary of the first ASUS laptop sent into space. Not only does it offer a space-exclusive design, but it's even worthy of going where no man has gone before, with its space-grade durability. It even comes with a 3.5-inch OLED companion Zen Vision display, and you will have a ball of a time taking in the views with its 16:10 4K OLED Nano Edge Pantone validated 14-inch display.
Now, included in the box is the main unit, a cold shoe mount, and two cables, a USB-C to Lightning for the iPhone and a USB-C to USB-C to your iPad, which makes it a very useful and practical monitor that some of you run and gun shooters will enjoy. Now, the main unit has a HDMI port to connect your iPhone or iPad and a USB-C 5V out for charging certain mirrorless hybrid cameras via the NPF battery housed at the back. Now there's also a cold mount on top of this adapter for additional accessories like a microphone or a light. Now the build quality is what you expect, really hardy plastic, and the overall design is fairly simple and straightforward. Now there are a few things I really like about the design, and we'll get to that later, but other than that, what's not included is that you have to get yourself a couple of NPF series rechargeable lithium-ion battery packs. Now they come in a variety of sizes, but we do recommend that you stick with a lower capacity for you run and gun shooters out there that are trying to keep their camera rigs light. Now of course, by all means you can stick an 8000 mAh battery like we did, which will perpetually keep the adapter powered up pretty much the whole day of shooting. And that comes to my first drawback of the Accsoon SeeMo. See, you have a big battery charging the adapter, but why can't it also charge the phone? I just don't get it. Anyway, what's cool here is that Accsoon has also given the option of mounting up your iPad. But essentially, the back comes off like so, and this is where you would mount the iPad, which is sold separately, of course. I found out the hard way, and I almost thought I broke the whole thing. So no harm, no foul here. Just don't go overboard. Now, for those who are wondering if their iOS devices is supported, it is compatible with the iPhone 8s and above, with a small disclaimer here that if you are using an iPhone 12 or 13 mini, you will need a separate case to clamp it on securely with the adapter. Now, with that said, here is the list of compatible devices for the Accsoon SeeMo. Just note this down. Yeah. Now, using it is pretty simple. Just plug in the battery and the HDMI cable, clamp in your phone via the spring-loading locking mechanism a la the Accsoon SeeMo emblem over there, and just push in, and there you go, it clamps on just like that. Now, you load up the Accsoon SEE app, which is available on the App Store on your phone, and bam, a whole new world of monitoring tools awaits. You have officially unlocked focus peaking, waveforms, histogram, false color, anamorphic desqueeze, frame lines, and so much more. So let's dive into the app and see what we have here. Now, for what it's worth, the app is very well organized and well laid out with access to almost everything you need. Some consider these essential tools, and for some, maybe a little bit overkill for the uninitiated, but hey, you've got professional grade tools here for all your filmmaking needs. Another cool feature here is that you can pinch to zoom in. So if you like to double check your focus, you can actually do that. Now, for the more advanced, you have the option to shoot in log and also have monitoring LUT presets. Now, there are a few presets that you can choose from, and all you need to do is go into this option called looks, and you can actually find a whole slew of like preloaded LUTs in this app. Unfortunately, you can't add your own LUTs, but you do already have some log files already catered to specific camera manufacturers. So you can get Canon Log-C, ARRI Log-C, Red Log, GoPro Pro Tune, Fujifilm F-Log, Sony S-Log, and so much more. So Accsoon has covered as much as they could for even professional shooters who want to grade their own footage down the line. Now, that is pretty nifty, especially if you work in log and you need some gamma display assist to get your exposures right. But for the most part, I leave my setting in default and work on color grade in post. Again, I see this more as a monitoring device and not a recorder for our scope of work here. And it is also important to note that if you are recording natively on your phone, your output is limited to Full HD 1080 at either 30 frames or 60 frames per second with 8-bit color and a maximum bitrate of 30 megabytes per second. Now, the downside here is you can't output raw footage from the camera, but that makes sense due to the hardware limitations, and you're better off investing in an Atomos shotgun to really tap into the full capabilities of the camera. But hey, maybe Accsoon can look into it and see if that's even possible? Who knows? I love the fact that I can have audio waveforms that I can monitor, and better yet, you can actually monitor audio too using your AirPods or wireless earbuds. Now, you do get a little bit of latency with wireless audio here, but it is manageable and I'm sure it will work out fine for you. Now, the recording feature of the Accsoon SeeMo only makes sense if you're editing a project on the fly to social media sites like YouTube Shorts or Facebook Reels or Instagram and TikTok. I've experienced very low latency, maybe a couple of frames shy, but it is ready to be used on the field. Now, the features work well and I can dial up the intensity of the focus peaking just to make sure my subject is in focus, and the frame lines help guide my shots whether I'm shooting for widescreen or even vertical formats. On top of the recording capabilities, you're also able to run a live feed from your camera using your phone's Wi-Fi or data network to do live streams. Granted, it is not as straightforward as other apps, and it will require you to enter a stream key or an RTMP server link to get it up and running. Now, for those who had no idea what I just said, those who know would know. And that's the issue, right? I hope Accsoon will update their app to make it easier and more streamlined, where you can just enter your Twitch credentials or your YouTube credentials and the such. Again, this is where I feel Accsoon has done something cool here, but it's lacking the final touches to really bring its full functionality home. So I hope Accsoon brings about a more user-friendly UI and the integrations in the next iteration of the Accsoon SE app. Now, from a creator's perspective, this has definitely made shooting video a lot easier. It's cheap and easy to set up, and it makes monitoring more accessible now, like how I got it set up with the Nikon Z6 II. It's a great camera, but the downside is that there's no fully articulating screen, so I can't flip the screen to really mirror the shots and check on my focus. So the Accsoon SeeMo will also be perfect for you vloggers out there. I mean, honestly, it's gonna be really handy for all types of situations. If you're just starting out to make content on your own, or if you're from a production house that needs a backup monitor in case something happens, or if you need more screen real estate to view your shot, this actually works well. And how I see the onboard recording function as of right now is a neat little way of having proxy footage or backup footage where you can record it, airdrop it to the editor's iPad. The editors can edit that right off the bat while the shoot is still simultaneously happening. Again, 30 megabytes per second is well reasonably decent for a HD recording through an app on a phone, and I find that is more than good enough for social media use. On top of that, here's a fun fact that you can do with the SeeMo 2. You can play games on your Switch or PS5 and record your gameplay sessions, turning your phone into a pseudo capture card. Food for thought, yeah.
Get out of here! Leave it, sir. Let's go.
With that being said, the Accsoon SeeMo is not perfect, and here are some of the drawbacks I've experienced using it. Starting off with the fact that it does not charge your phone. I'm sure it's a hardware limitation, but if you're out on a 6-hour shoot and you're not going to get very far with your iPhone's display on full brightness, with apps still running in the background, so on and so forth. And yes, I know that's pretty much the whole point of this device, to keep the battery solely for the SeeMo. And yes, you can slap on a power bank somewhere on your rig for the iPhone alone, but hey, in moments where you have none in reach, it'd be a nice touch to have that option somehow. Now with that said, I would have preferred to have seen an inbuilt battery and or a USB-C power input added as well. With such a small size lightweight adapter, you know, it doesn't make a lot of sense for users to have to power it via a battery that weighs substantially more than the device itself, as the SeeMo only draws about 2 watts or a maximum of 4 to 5 watts if you're using it with an iPad. Now, having the ability to power it via a battery or through an internal battery or even an external USB source will make it a lot more versatile, well, at least in my opinion. Now, the other problem here is the power button really should have been a slider, because the only way to tell that the device is on is with this LED light. And you also got a battery level indicator here. Now, the LEDs are pretty faint and they don't stand out to be noticeable on the field. Now, the other thing is the tilt. You gotta use an Allen key to adjust it, and the build quality on it is, you know, mostly plastic, so you may want to rethink putting anything heavy into this cold shoe mount up top. In this case, it breaks. Now, what Accsoon could have done here was maybe to provide a more premium version that could address these issues, and you know what? I would definitely get that, and I would definitely pay more. At this price point, the Accsoon SeeMo is a great alternative to dedicated monitors that offer both monitoring and recording capabilities that will be great for content creators and professionals. And I really believe Accsoon has definitely created a new product type in the market, and I just hope with future iterations, be it from Accsoon or any other company, that they address the issues that come with this first iteration. So with that said, if you have any questions regarding the Accsoon SeeMo, leave it down in the comments below and I'll do my best to get to them. Follow us on all of our socials right here, and if you like this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button because it goes a long way. And if you want to see more of our content, check this out. Woo!